All right. All right. Good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, Crystal. Uh-oh, my questions are really big this morning. Let me see if I can't fix that right now. Thank Crystal is on the job. Thank you, Crystal. Hello, hello. Good afternoon,
Morning, Crystal.
Key.
Yeah, I know Crystal as well.
She told me she visited. All
Yeah.
right, Crystal. Okay, so Crystal and Husband are watching the live. All right. Oh, he says for you to watch live. Okay. All right. Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon. Glad you all are here. Um, I am going to go ahead. Crystal says, hi, Josh.
What's up?
Uh,
What's up, Crystal?
I am going to go ahead and do my intro and kick off, and we're going to get into this conversation. Josh told me that football starts at 3, so I need to make sure we get this conversation in and going. So I don't hold him up from football and the rest of y'all from your day. So we are going to get it started. Good morning, Rosalind. Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday. Good morning, Judith. Sadiq, good afternoon. All right, let me do my kickoff and then we are going to get it started. Here we go. All right, good morning or afternoon, depending on your location. My name is Jewel Pearson, and this is Bohemian Soul TV. This is Creating Home, a tiny house series, and this segment that we're about to kick off is one of the fabulous conversations on intimate spaces that we host. Every Sunday, I do offer live content, and I alternate between these conversations and the What's Your Question or our community conversations. What's your questions? I'm answering tiny house frequently asked questions, and then our community conversations where we're just literally sharing in community. As I introduce myself, I like to say that I built a kind of fancy tiny house in 2015, and since that time, I have shared my journey to hopefully inspire others who are interested in the movement. I do offer coaching and consultations to help others in their tiny house journey, and you will be able to find links to schedule with me in the video description below once this goes live and I update it. And as I'm doing all of that, I also say that I serve up a lot of representation in the movement along the way. I do want us to be able to see ourselves in this movement and be able to talk to our successes and our challenges and our concerns and have some resources. It is my intent to build figurative and literal community that is inclusive and accessible. So if you find this information in the video helpful, I hope you'll like it, you'll share it, you'll subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications so that you'll know when content is available. All right, that was my intro. Thank you all very much for bearing with me. Oh, Crystal says she had a car accident after she left your wonderful RV park.
I do.
Sorry,
I do remember. I do remember that. I do remember that. Yeah, I
sorry
saw
to
that.
hear that. Hi, Zena. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Linda from Jacksonville. I hope you got some beautiful warm weather. We have some nice weather here too. Absolutely, Crystal. We are doing that. Hi, Robert. Good afternoon, F.E. Gaskin. All right. All right. So we're going to kick off. I'm going to ask you. And so as before I do the kickoff, so when we enter these conversations, I always say that I believe our homes, our journeys, even though you're not in a tiny house, Josh, but our journeys tell a story about us, whether it's
Mhm.
intentional or unintentional. And as I move around in these spaces around tiny houses, the tiny house movement, I feel like there is more intent in our decisions to get there in our journey than maybe just the average person. And so that is what we explore in these conversations because I feel like it is bigger than the tiny house, it's bigger than the movement. It's also about the person and how they got there, and that is what we want to talk about. So
Right.
please introduce yourself to the world, to the audience, please.
What's up? What's up, everybody? So my name is Josh Gordy. Owner alongside my wife Amber Gordy, Warthen RV Park. Originally from Georgia. That's where I was born and raised. Um, went to school at Central Michigan University, and also had a chance to play a little professional football. So then, and after that, after my time of doing that, um, that's really what when I got more into trying to evolve the RV park into what it is, what it is today. So and I know we'll get on into that probably later, but two kids, two kids I love dearly. Yeah, keeping us busy. So that's me in a nutshell. But we'll dig on in further as we go along.
So I have to tell him myself because Josh just said he played professional ball. I shared the pictures on Instagram that I went out to visit the RV park
Hmm.
a couple of weeks ago. So his mom had on um, Green Bay, and what was the other team she had on? Some,
Yeah, she had a
another.
Green Bay scarf. She had a Green Bay scarf on with the Indianapolis Colts hat. So yeah,
so so I just commented. I had no idea Josh played professional ball. So I was trying to understand how she was supporting two teams in her gear she had on. And that's when
right.
I learned that Josh had played ball because obviously she has her own team, but she's gonna always have an affinity for the team or in teams that Josh played for. So there was a learning for me just overall in her attire that day.
Yeah,
So yes.
yeah. Through the years, it's just been something that I just kind of naturally do. You sort of try to put a wall up. You don't want to just come out telling people you did that because you always get a different version of people than their
Oh,
authentic
got
self.
you.
You know what
Got
I'm
you.
saying? So,
Okay.
and I know you still would have been authentic, but it's just something
Absolutely.
that naturally occurs, and so that's kind of I guess why you didn't really know. But
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
oh
Michelle,
yeah,
I'm glad you'll watch the replay. Thanks for jumping on and saying hello. Okay, so Josh, everybody is saying hello to you and welcome. All
yeah.
right.
So loving and
Oh,
welcoming,
sorry.
y'all.
Go.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah, I told you the community is very engaged and loving.
I
So
love it.
talk about your background, Josh. So in your bio, you shared that you didn't grow up around RV parks per se, but that
Mhm.
you and your wife Amber are family oriented, you're community oriented. Talk about how that has played into where you are with the RV park.
Yeah. And my wife, she grew up in Lansing, Michigan. Um,
Okay.
so her family's up more up north. Me being from Middle Georgia, and it's just the culture really in the area where I grew up at. And you passed by a lot of my family member houses and didn't even really know it when you was down. But that's just how I grew up, and it was that's all we knew. So I lived with my mom right there. My granddad was next door. Uncle was right next door to him. Um, then a few miles down the road, we got two more aunts and uncles. So for me growing up, being communal was just something that naturally occurred. And I had no idea of, any other way really until I moved, how different it could feel until I
Okay.
went to college, went to Michigan. And, you see people that they only know who live in their house. They don't know people who live next to them. They don't know the people who live next to them.
Right.
And, so that's always, it's always struck me as odd, you know. And even to this day, they people in my neighborhood call me the mayor of the neighborhood because I'm the one I always try to get people together to do stuff. But I found so much benefit in it. For one, it's been research shown that being a part of community is you know that helps live longer, healthier, fulfilled lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If anybody ever seen the documentary on Netflix called Blue Zones, that was one of the have you seen that documentary
I
yet?
have not watched it. I'm writing that down right now so I can watch it.
Yeah, so they studied these different regions around the world where they had the largest concentrations of centenarians, meaning people lived above 100.
100.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yep, and that was one of the key factors. They was lived in communal. But if you think about it, it makes so much sense. I mean, especially with the day loneliness and having people to talk to.
Yeah.
Um, Even when it's time to get stuff done around the house, like we can chip in and many hands make light work. And
Right.
you know, being introduced more into like a city suburban life, you see a lot of problems people have that could be easily solved if you knew your neighbors, you knew the people
Yeah.
next to you.
Yeah.
It's kind of baffling, but
No.
and that's just it's always been just ingrained in me, and that's what I believe in. So
No, yeah. That makes a
uh,
lot of sense. We talk about that here, the importance of community. It's one of the reasons that I created the channel so that we can have community within the tiny house movement, and also the
right,
need for representation because, like you're saying, just overall community is necessary for health and well being. And now it is so hard to you see kind of community going away because we've got so much social media and people are more
hmm,
engaged virtually. The pandemic kind of did that as well, kind of made force people to engage more virtually, and people mental health and all of those things are suffering as a result. So I agree with that sentiment exactly. And so, Crystal, many hands make light work. Exactly. When we talk about community and we talk about how we prospered before, um, and community was an integral part of that as well.
oh yeah.
Um, yes, yes. Um, okay, so at what point did you recognize the desire to um, create an RV park? Like, what led to that?
Yeah, so that actually, I mean, that started up in 2011, 2012. Um, and what happened really was, again, going back to that community piece, it was a tract of land that butted up right next to my other family's land. And, it was such a great deal. I'm like, what opportunity to, extend our footprint, on down to in our area where
Hmm.
we live at. So I purchased it, and then, um, candidly, I'll say, I was trying to figure out a way, how can I use this to, generate some revenue, and and so that's where the idea of RV park came up, mainly because in our area, if you got any kind of construction going on, or any projects being done, a lot of the contract workers, they come in the area, and they either staying in hotels, which can get very expensive, and we don't have many options either. So, you know, I think, yeah, my uncle, he mentioned like, hey, why not start an RV park, on the land, and so that was the great idea, and we went ahead with it. So, um, and that's the way we ran for, for a few years, for a number of years, was mostly, that was target market of more of the contract workers coming in, um, staying for a few months at a time here and there, which is a great model, and
Yeah,
then you start learning about the recreation side of the thing, and it's like, okay, this is another great avenue. And then seeing there was so many of us in it, I'm like, man, that is sort of a no brainer. Why not try to make a space where, owned by somebody that looked like them, and, a lot of time having events and stuff that we have, people around, other people that you're comfortable with. That was a lot of the stories you were hearing, like going to different parks, and, you don't only want to listen to a certain type of music that you listen to, or,
yeah, yeah.
playing the same game you're playing. So that was definitely the driving factor behind that. And yeah, so, and then I guess we'll get into it, but, the tiny house idea came, the community came, and I know we'll touch on that too. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
So give us some background. We're going to look at some pictures, but give us some background.
Mhm.
Tell us where the park is located, like the
Yep.
major cities. You gave me that information, like where the major cities, distances from the major cities, and also like the size of the park.
Yep. So we sit on 27 acres. Um, that's the total footprint of the tract of land that we own, and we're literally directly in the middle of Georgia. We're in middle Georgia, in Worthen, Georgia. The county is Washington County, and so your major cities that surrounded us are, we have Augusta, which is about 40 minutes from us. Macon, another 45, 50 minutes from us as well. And Millersville, which is a definitely thriving and growing city. with two colleges in that city, and we can get there in 30 35 minutes. So, and then we have our own town there, which is Sandersville, Georgia. You still can get a lot of the essential needs you need and all that. So that's our town. So we're definitely placed within the middle of a lot of different cities that you can easily access. So that's a great asset to the park. Still come back to the park and feel like you saw how peaceful it was out there, and that's what
Yeah,
people. That's the draw. That's a draw that draw a lot of visitors to the park.
yeah. One of the things that I think is definitely important, and we will be talking about the tiny home community specifically,
Hmm.
um, relative to the park, but the need for you and others who look like you in this space, and the key for, even if we're not just talking about tiny houses, if we're talking about RVers, Black RVers,
Hmm.
the challenges and the danger that is out there in some of those spaces. And I've shared very openly with this group how I've had to move my home in an RV park, from an RV park, because of racism, in a rural space. And so that piece of it is so important to have you here to provide that safe space and to be representation within this movement, and so within our being, and within the tiny house movement. So that is important, and a definite need for you to be here for sure.
Absolutely. And I just speak to that too. You can just see it physically when people when people show up for the first, if they've never been there for the first time. I mean, they get out of their campus and it's like it's like a whole weight just lifts out their back. Like, oh my god, like I feel like I'm at home. You see what I'm saying? So I definitely can. I see it. I see it all the time.
Yeah,
It's a difference. It's a difference. You can let your guard down a little bit if you will.
yeah,
And just be yourself.
yeah,
So, and that's
yeah.
what makes, I think, a great experience. So nothing wrong with other parts, but
No,
nothing like being yourself when you're supposed to be relaxing anyway. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And I follow some RVers, um, and have seen, obviously seen RV parks there. When I was in Myrtle Beach a
Hmm.
couple of months ago, there's a big RV park next to my hotel, and um, just the flags that fly that kind of let you know immediately where these people are standing, and and that's a lot, especially when you're trying to be on vacation and have a good time and relax, and that's already sending you a signal to let you know,
Hmm.
who I am, and where I stand, and where, and it, it goes to political flags, it goes to the Confederate flags, and for us, and for those things where people try to say, well, it's heritage and it's all of that. No, it represents something totally different for us, and it speaks to being unsafe, and people that you don't necessarily even want to associate with, even as they try to say, it's heritage, and whatever. It's just like that's not the vibe that I necessarily want to be involved with.
Yeah, I mean, we're not dumb, but what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
No, you
it's
sent a whole message. You sent,
yeah, yeah, it's
you sent a whole message. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. So Frederick is asking, what's the difference between a tiny home community and an RV park? Beautiful question, Frederick. Hold on to your question. We're gonna circle back to it. And welcome. I'm glad you're here. But we're gonna come back to that question. Thank you, Crystal. Crystal is on it, but we're gonna come back to it in just a few minutes. Okay, so I want to talk. I want to share the pictures of the RV park to help us. The pictures that you shared to help us with this conversation as we continue. So I'm gonna um, share my screen, and y'all know it just takes me a minute. There we go. All right.
Okay, you got it.
Okay, I did it. Okay, so narrate for us, Josh, as we're
Yeah,
sharing the pictures.
it's cool. So yeah, this is me and my beautiful wife, Amber. She's on here
Absolutely.
watching. She's on here watching too. She was camera shy. I don't think she want to get on.
Hey,
but
Amber.
but yeah. So that was us. This is us actually at one of our meetups. Probably was our fall meetup maybe since we got hoodies on or
Okay.
something.
Okay.
Um, and we'll have occasional meetups throughout the year. People come in, man, from all over the country, get together. This was us actually sitting at a band. This
Okay.
same this is the same event. We had a live band going. That's my mom actually putting the fire in the fire pit, Miss Sophie. So, um, but yeah, this is always a highlight of the weekends. We have a great band playing. Everybody just sitting back, relaxing.
Very
And
nice.
one thing I love, man, what we love to say is everybody come as strangers but leave as family. You know, every time all these people in the photos, they probably the first time ever getting together, and leaving as family. So
Absolutely. Making some connections and making some, and getting some more family. So Amber
that's,
said hello. Hey,
yep.
Amber.
You know what? Something else that beautiful happens as a result of our meetups. Um, we know we follow a lot of people that we interact with. We follow them on social media and just seeing them traveling with people that they met at our park, now
Right.
traveling together throughout the country. That's always a beautiful sight. Knowing that we was a part of that curation process. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, so before this picture slides off, this is just a photo of us coming into the park, which is our short term lots there on the left. And I'm sure this was during another meetup, but yeah, we was yep, it was packed full that weekend, so it was a great weekend. And just show you how how close we are with a lot of our guests. I can look at some of those vegans and tell you which family, which
Tell us who
families
it
those
is.
are.
Yep.
So
That's
I see that. Yeah, I see the blue truck. I know that's the Elmores. Um, and see, I think I see the Washingtons in there as well. So, but yeah, we uh we get to know our people. So that's the plus.
absolutely.
Yep, yep. This is another picture, sort of looking down the long view of the park from the driveway as well. Um, yeah, so more of this is more like a marketing photo for our site, but just letting people know we do have a propane station on site. But I love this picture showing the land and the
Yep.
nice fence we have
Yep.
out front. So,
It was a
great.
beautiful, the day I came, the property looked just like this. Like it was just sunshiny and beautiful. I saw somebody come over and get their propane tank filled, and I saw
Yep,
somebody utilizing the
the
laundromat,
laundry.
and it's also something I don't think you just said this, but it's a service that you also offer to the community, not just um, people at your property.
Yep. And yeah, that can come in handy. Instead of having to travel all the way to town, 15 minutes away, taking your clothes there, hauling them back. We kind of fill that gap. If you don't have
Yep,
too much to go. So, yep.
absolutely. Okay, so this is kind of where we're gonna look at this, and then we're gonna probably come back and talk about this in just a minute as well as we expand the conversation. But Josh, give us some background on this, and then we'll revisit the conversation.
Yeah. So again, I talked about once we start getting more into the recreational side of RVing, and I had to you have to sometimes you have to back up and start back at the beginning. So you have to write your vision down, and make it plain. So this was sort of the early vision of where I want to expand the park to. Um, so already currently, if you look at the entrance, the main driveway coming in, those are already in place, and you make the right at the back of the park. Half of those lots are already in place. But what's not at the park already are a lot of the amenities that's infilling the middle part of the picture,
Mm-hmm.
um, such as the pond and the sports courts and everything of that nature in the tiny home community that we see on the right side of the drawings. So yeah, this is more or less a big overview of the dream we have going forward, the vision, I should say. Um, and even the final picture is going to be different than what's on this one because we noticed, a lot of the things that I thought would be an asset, probably wouldn't serve the purpose of people would be trying to serve. So um, it's always good to again always tell my son, always got to draw it twice, or build it twice, I
Yeah.
should say.
Yep. Yep.
So it's good to get it right on paper first before you go out and
Yep.
start
What do
digging
they
dirt.
say? Measure twice, cut once when you're
There
building.
you go.
So same thing.
There you
Yep.
go. So
Yep.
yep.
Okay. I'm sorry. Were you getting ready to say something? Oh, I missed a
Nope,
picture.
nope.
All right.
And this,
That's the
yep,
family.
yeah, this the fam. This the fam. New Year's Eve. Uh, yeah, it was actually out in the backyard at the fire pit. You ever want to find me on a Friday night? This
Okay.
week. This week you can find me at sitting out. Getting my
All
thoughts together.
right.
So yeah, it's the
I
best
like
time
that
to do it.
landscape and what that lava rock.
Yep. Lava rock.
I
Yep,
love
yep,
that.
yep.
I love
Don't
that.
don't pay attention to the bush in the background. It's on my to do list.
I hadn't even noticed it till you called
I
it
know it.
out.
I know it. I know it.
Amber, you heard him say it's on the to-do list.
Yeah, she was the main reason I said it for. I know she's looking at it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back here, and so
Okay.
there's a question that was asked. Um, Robert, I saw your other question. I'm gonna come back to that one. Will that be a man-made lake? And so
Yep.
talk about that because it is in process.
Yeah. So yes, it is. Again, another learning process. Just doing that. Um, I had somebody scheduled to do it. Uh, got impatient. Somebody else came along. I can dig it. Um, should have tested my dirt better. So we got the structure of the pond, but the dirt quality is not what we need to hold the water. So now we need to go. We have to go the liner route, getting a pond liner put in. A little bit more. Gonna cost a little bit more to get it done, but that's going to be the main staple of all the amenities we do have, and just our target market audience. The return on it will be, it'll be great because the people
Absolutely.
a lot of people we serve, they're really in outdoors and they love fishing. So, that'll be a big draw to that. So,
Absolutely. It is.
yep,
And it is such a beautiful property. Like just standing out on the property, you can imagine all of this happening because the landscape just supports all of it. So, absolutely. All right.
yeah. This is my mom, Miss Sophie. If anybody's ever came through, you've talked to her, seen her. Um, she is the heartbeat of the park. Without her, the feeling, that family community vibe, it wouldn't be there. So I definitely have to always give her, her props for being that voice. She's the first
Yeah.
people you talk to if you call to make a reservation. She's the one answering the phone. Um, so yeah, that's my mom, Miss Sophie. You guys will definitely get to know her if you come through.
And so I think this is the last picture. Okay, so let me share the video, the first video. Let's see if I can
Okay.
make this. Hang on a second.
And will I still be able to talk during the video?
Yep, you sure can.
Okay. Yeah. So during the video, you'll see a lot of ATV riding going on. This we'll be doing more of that.
Wait. Hold on.
Yep.
So I might have lied because I didn't realize the sound was so. Let's watch the video, then I'll let you talk
Okay.
because I didn't realize the sound was so loud. Okay, Josh, before I play the next video, talk to us about what we saw there. You were getting ready to
Yeah.
say
So
something.
yep. So yeah, I wanted to use that video mainly because it showed a great aerial view of the entire property. So that's the park from a bird's eye view, shot on a drone. And yeah, we was using that video when we was doing a lot of ATV rentals and just riding on the property. So, but we've gotten away from that here lately. But yeah, still a good video to see the full landscape though.
Absolutely. Okay, let me
Yeah.
see if this one is gonna play right. Uh oh. I don't know why it's sideways. Hang on a second. I don't know if I know how to even fix this. Uh, let's see.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. That didn't work.
One step closer.
Okay, let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, we're not gonna get
Mm.
this. I can't rotate it. So, I don't know why this did that.
And you know what? You
Uh,
could probably just play half of it and stop it because it's once you see half of it, you'll see the whole video. So
okay. Sorry, y'all. Just bear with us. All right, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop us from having to try to turn our head sideways.
yeah, yeah. So I had threw that video in there just to uh, show the fun we
For
have when we
for
do
the
had a meetup.
fun,
So yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
the
So
fun.
that's the vibe you get when you visit us on our event weekend type event. So
Very, very, very nice. Okay, so
yep, yep.
I have a question, but I'm gonna ask this. I have some questions, but I'm gonna ask this question, and from one of our guests, Robert. So the
Okay.
question, which you might not be able to see, is saying we say that the color green is the only color that matters. Did you ever have people try to shame you for being proud of creating an RV park and serving people of color? And I love that question.
Yeah. No, no, not really. Um, I mean, the end of the day is needed. So I don't. And again, yeah, green green does matter. Um, but no, I don't. I don't feel ashamed for saying that. We are a place that we can come and feel to be ourselves. Because a lot of people can't put themselves in the shoes that we can. And I mean, we've had instances where people show up and they didn't know we were black owned, but as soon as they meet the manager and get talking about we own the park, they pack up and leave. So
Okay. Okay.
you know, I, so what can you say?
Yeah.
That's the reason why. I, I'm not gonna force you to be here. So you know.
Yeah.
But now, good question, though, Rob.
Yeah. And that's interesting. Like if they pack up and leave and they don't want to spend their dollars with you, the thing there is that you didn't want their money anyway. Like where they say all money ain't good money,
There you go.
and that is important. I only want people, and that's one of the things that I say with my channel. I always get the comments that I'm racist because I am centering black and brown people, or because I call out racism. And I feel like there's the segment of people who have been the majority for so long and they're not used to not being centered. And
Hmm.
my messaging and my work isn't necessarily for them. If you can't understand why representation in these conversations are necessary, then
Hmm.
this isn't the space for you, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and,
So
and especially spaces we in. I mean, we're so behind in these spaces. We it's almost kind of like we gotta have somewhere we can feel to be comfortable and knowing that our best interest at heart. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I totally agree.
yeah, yeah. And it's safe at this point. It's a matter of safety and our livelihood, and that is important. That is very important. Um, Crystal was trying to help me with the video. So there was another question, and I will ask you to kind of cover it quickly. I know we talked about it. So once someone is asking, Sadiq, I know was late. So just cover again for everyone where you're located, how close your park is to shopping centers in major cities.
Yep. So yeah, we're in Worthing, Georgia, but so the town that we use for getting our essentials, groceries, food and everything else you need, schools and all that, is Sandersville, Georgia, and that you can get to Sandersville in 12 minutes from the park. But now, if you want to go, if you need to get to like a mall, Home Depot, a lot of your bigger stores, then you have options like Augusta, which is 45 minutes from us. You have Macon, which is also roughly 50 from us as well. Milledgeville, that's a lot closer at 35 minutes. And then Dublin, which is another city that's growing. I kind of put it with Milledgeville. They're both growing at good rates. Um, again, Dublin probably 45 as well. So um, definitely everything within good reach. So not too far out.
Tell us how far you are from Atlanta because I drove from
Oh
Atlanta
yeah,
and it was a
that's
beautiful
right.
ride.
Yep. So Atlanta was 2 hours. It's 2 hours from us. Um, yeah, great ride. How did you like my recommendation for the ride down?
The way to come.
That,
I didn't get to follow it completely because it was going to add like a half hour to my drive, but it was a beautiful, beautiful ride. Um,
yeah,
yeah, because
you still get that peaceful feeling even if you take the highway first because you got to get off and ride some ways
yeah,
anyway. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Okay, so Sadiq, I think we answered your question about the location. So Josh, let's talk about, so you're very family oriented. You've got two young children. Talk about why what you're creating, the RV park, the sense of community. Talk about how and why that's important to you, your children, the legacy that you're building. I'm not going to ask specific questions because I don't want to lead your conversation, but I know we're going to get there.
yeah. No, especially the last couple of years, man. I think I really just had a passion for seeing people become the highest versions of themselves. Um, and I think that's one of the ways I can really do that um, by providing that sense of community through the park. Um, I know we'll get to the tiny home piece, but I just envision folks coming out and again being able to transform themselves to their best version of themselves, whether it be health wise. A lot of people get into it, financial reasons. That's another reason to up that you guys that generational thing you speak of, and just to show my kids, is ways to help the community, further themselves better, and you also get enjoyment out of it as well. So I think
Hmm.
that touches to it. That touches to it a lot in that area. Yeah.
You're
So
also building generational wealth for them. In
mhm.
addition to the insight on community, you're also building a space for them and showing them the opportunity to create um, their own business and their own opportunity for wealth building and showing them how to do that. And that's
Yeah.
important.
And you know what? And the main driver to that too. I actually spoke to this on a. I help facilitate a young men's group on Wednesdays, mentoring group. Um, I think that one driving guiding light is I heard a stat, and a lot of people probably heard it, but they say by the year 2054 that the average net worth of African Americans will be zero.
Yeah.
Um, I think if people put that at the forefront of what that really means for first of all, if you don't realize what that means, being in a capitalist society and saying that we'll have no wealth by that time, and it ain't far away. People
Hmm.
think it's a long way away. It's not far away. But if you don't have no capital in a capitalist society, you know, you pretty much you're a puppet at that point. You won't have no say so. Um, that's just simply put it as that. And I think if
Yeah.
people start and it came up because we was talking about, you know, gangs in our small hometown. Like, come on, man, it ain't but ain't but 20,000 people live here. Y'all call yourself in gangs, man. Like, I think we need something bigger to strive for, and I think that that guiding light will sort of, when you want to do something that's just ridiculous and off kilter, like it'll pull you back in center. Um, but yeah, just trying to be that, be that conduit for making sure that as many people I come in contact with, we don't fall into that statistic.
Being
Yeah.
a
So
change
that's
agent, being a change agent, and that's important.
being a change agent.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah. So,
this journey, what year did you first establish the RV park?
2011. Yeah.
2011.
Hmm.
What have you in this journey learned about yourself as you've been navigating this journey? It sounds like you started out with the sense of community being very important. Has what you've been doing since that time shifted any of your values in one direction or the other? What has been your learnings?
Actually, early on, I mean, again, just being transparent, I was trying to find a way to, just simply make money off the land. Just to be honest. But through the years, that's when you start to realize, it's a great book. I just start with why, and you really got to find a great why as to what you're doing. Otherwise, when times get hard and stuff not going your way, it'll be easy to give up.
Hmm.
But now, once you I, once I find myself tying myself to a particular reason and purpose,
Hmm.
that keeps you going, even when things aren't going as smooth as possible. If you get what I'm saying. So
Hmm.
that's a big thing, big reason, a big learning lesson I learned along the way. You know, start with why. What's your why?
What's your why?
What's your
Yep.
why?
What's your
Yeah.
why? Yeah, I like that. And I think it helps us understand direction. It gives us purpose. For
Mm-hmm.
me, it is always, there's that saying like, what would you do like if you didn't have any constraints? There's this really cool way it's the that I and it's one of my hashtags, but like what would you do um if there were no limitations? What exactly would you do? What's your why, and what
Mm-hmm.
motivates you? And that's important, like you were saying, to keep you going when you face challenges or when things aren't going the way that you anticipated. If you know your why, and that's important, that, like you said, keeps you motivated, keeps you in the game, helps you pivot in a direction, because you can't always go the straight line to your goal. Sometimes you got to pivot, but you still have that goal ahead when you know your why, and helps you in achieving
Yep.
that.
Yep. Speaking back to that, exactly. Speaking back to that Dr. Jones, that was another that was perfect every day.
I have, wait a minute, let's see, are we losing Josh, or is that me? Might be me. I think Josh froze. Josh, can you still hear me?
Are you still there?
I'm still here. Let's see. You froze for a minute, and it could be me. Oh, no, that okay. So they're saying I'm good. Josh, you're breaking up. Do you have anything, Josh? Maybe try dialing back in. All right, y'all. Give us just a few minutes, and we should have Josh dialing back in. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate y'all so much. Yes, the internet is is a mess. I thought it was me because we got wind out here today. Thank you, Amber. Absolutely, Casey. Thank you, Crystal. I agree. I agree, agree, agree. We do need safe spaces. All right. I
Sorry about
think you're
that.
back. That's okay. I was thinking it was me. You know, I'm in the woods.
Uh,
Uh,
you doing better than me.
um, okay. Go ahead. You were saying something. Do you remember what you were talking about?
Yeah, we was talking on the sense of having purpose, and I was thinking back to that documentary I mentioned earlier about the blue zones, and
Mm-hmm.
that was another thing they found very in common was people woke up with a sense of purpose every day. You know, and again having something to strive to do that day that helps. That also helps in your overall health journey. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yep, yep,
Um, Robert is saying, and this is an important point, all Black communities have corner stores and community grocery stores owned by foreigners. What's wrong with that
yep.
picture? And why does it
Hmm.
seem that only a few of us understand the dangers of that? And
Yeah.
in addition to that, Josh, I'm gonna let you say what you're going to say.
Hmm.
Oftentimes, those corner stores aren't even welcoming spaces to us in our own communities, and that is
Yeah.
even more of a shame. But go ahead. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, just even what you just said, because I got a lot of rental properties as well, right? And a lot of the areas where my rentals at, you see a lot of those stores, and sometimes I have to go in those stores, but even though I'm in there, I'm like, this ain't right. Like the way they treat the customers, it's just a transaction. Get your stuff, get out. Don't be in
Yeah.
here messing with my stuff. I'm
Right.
like this, but people don't. They don't. If you don't see no different, you don't know no different. I guess.
Right. Right.
I'm like, why? And then too, you just don't have a lot of options, I guess. But it's just like, man, why would you continue to spend your money with somebody who really don't give a dang about you? You see what I'm saying? And but
Yeah.
anyway, um,
Yeah.
but 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 yeah, I saw Robert comment too. That was another point I touched on with the young men when we was talking. It's very much a big danger, and I think I opened a lot of their eyes that day. And it's like a lot of the youth and actually a lot of grown people, we run around worried about the wrong things when we playing checkers and a lot of people playing chess.
Yeah.
And if you're not careful, we'll be, I think we'll be eradicated before we even know it. We won't even
Yeah.
know it. You know.
Yeah. And all by design.
Yeah.
Okay, so one question before we start talking about the tiny house community. I don't know what happened to my comments. Rosalind is asking, do you have any age restrictions on RVs at the park, and do you allow schoolies?
Yeah, we've had schoolers come through with us quite a few times. Um, and age restrictions, not really, not really. We but we do want it in a decent looking condition, but we're not too strict on the age, but more so not looking like we you know run, run the junkyard either. So, but
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so um let's talk about the direction that you're wanting to go, that not wanting to go, that you're planning to go into as you think more about options for a tiny house community. So I did see a question in the chat about the difference between an RV park and a tiny house community. I did see Crystal, thank you as always for answering that. But Josh, I wanted to give you an opportunity to answer that or speak to that from your perspective of what you intend to offer.
yeah, I think to that question again, we've been talking about it all day, but I think again go back to community. A lot of times you see RV parks, people just in and out, in and out. Unless you're having a themed event or something, people get to know each other. But other than that, it's just a transaction in and out, not really getting to know people. Um, but yeah, what my vision is, man, for the tiny home community is to actually build a community, and um, even within that, again, letting people become highest versions of themselves. I see, I see people getting together, potlucks, getting together, um, game nights, having community gardens, where we're actually planting food, living off the food. And again, I shared with you on to Miss Jewel about if we do have a community garden. Well, when we will have a community garden, I like to donate 10% of that to some of our local food shelters. So that's something else I'm pretty big on. Um, and yeah, just you know having a safe space again and
A safe space,
being
yeah,
all one. Make it happen.
yeah. So I'll share this at this level. So Josh and I think I shared it a couple of weeks. I even shared it on social media that I had been reaching out to the RV parks because obviously there is the opportunity there for tiny house communities. And so Josh and I are trying to, I think I might have lost Josh again, and it probably is me. No, Josh is there. It might be on my side. Um, Josh and I are in conversation to see what the opportunity looks like for us to collaborate um, on the tiny house community there at his property. And so, Josh, can you hear me still?
I can
I
hear you.
think you can hear
I
me.
can hear you.
Okay. I'm wondering if I might need to have you dial in through Skype.
I can.
Hang on just a second. I'm
Yeah, and
if you can
I was trying
you
to get on.
if you can hear me, let me open my Skype up and then I might have you use, wait, let's see. Just give me a second. It is a terribly windy day out here, so it could be me that's causing the problem. Okay, Josh, if you can hear me, maybe go out and dial in via Skype, that other link that I sent you.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, y'all bear with me. Sometimes this tool acts a bit funny, and while I might be clear, my guest isn't always clear. So um, just bear with me. Skype you will sometimes work better. Happy Sunday, y'all. I hope y'all are having good weather. It's just really been windy here. All right, bear with me just a second. Um, I got you over here. Now I gotta figure out how to.
Yeah. So sorry about that.
That's okay. No, it's. Oh, did I not do this right? Y'all bear with me. I see us, but I don't see us in the. Okay, magic. Don't ask me what I did, but it
IT
worked.
support.
Right. And my IT support looks like just keep pressing a bunch of buttons, and sometimes it works out. Okay.
That's it.
All right. Um, of course, I forgot what we were talking about the tiny house community. Okay, so I was
Yeah.
sharing that we are collaborating to talk through
Yeah.
what that those opportunities could be, and so I kind of
Yeah.
wanted to open the conversation up for you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So we I reached out to you and again I told you I had that vision at very early in the morning. So I said when I have those, I like to just act on them. So asking you about the possibility of maybe collaborating on the actual community at the park, which I think will be very very needed, and I think it'll be very successful. So yeah, looking to see where we go from there. Still in the early stages, but yeah, that's something everybody can look forward to going
Absolutely.
forward. So yeah, I'm excited about it. You bringing your presence and your knowledge of the community. Again, leaning on people who know more of the world. Collaborating instead of trying to go it alone. That's another life lesson
Absolutely.
I've learned throughout the years. You know,
Absolutely.
go go further together instead of faster by yourself. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, looking forward to it.
Same. That was one of the things that when I reached out to Josh and to AJ, the
Mhm.
collaboration. Like if we're doing some of the similar work and we're operating in some of the similar same circles, there's always the collective opportunity to, like you were just saying, to work smarter together, collectively, to help each other, because there's enough out here for everybody.
Oh yeah,
And if we're able to work together and help each other along the way, then that just makes sense from that opportunity standpoint. I
yeah.
did see a couple of questions where people were asking, would you be selling property or is this rental? And so for the tiny house communities, and even the work that I'm doing with the cooperative communities app, this is for rentals. This is not for selling of someone's property. This is more for rental, for you to rent space out on the property. Josh, I don't know if you have anything that you want to add to that specifically.
Oh no, no, you hit it right on the head. Yeah, yeah. Looking at more model on that. Um, is actually instead of actually deeding it out. So, but yeah, more rental space. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and so schoolies, when we were talking about schoolies a minute ago, those are the buses, the school buses that have been converted to tiny homes, and you've seen them all over the internet, and they're oftentimes beautiful conversions. So that's what a schoolie is, Robert. Um,
Oh yeah.
yes.
And if anybody
Eh,
has a part of a schoolie, if anybody's part of a schoolie community group, we'd love to have y'all out. We love to see the different types of and being that place where, especially something like that, you don't really get to see, a lot of other people doing the same things in the same spaces. So if you guys want to, utilize us for a group meetup, let us know. We'll be here waiting.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Crystal is saying it would be cool to have a couple of yurts, and there's a question from Casey as to whether there'll be facilities for the glamping gal. She says she doesn't think she can do a tent.
Well, yeah, I can't promise you. I can't promise you that for the glampers. We actually tried yurts before, actually at another property we have. Um, and again, you learn by doing, and it's very hands on. It puts you more into a run the hotel at that point. Lack of better words.
Yes,
But
yes, I got you. Yeah.
yeah, so and then and a lot of the clientele you draw to yurts, they want to be outside, but not really outside. So then everything has to be, picture perfect and all that. Um, but yes, we decided to kind of go away from that and only focus on people that can bring their own, I guess, sort of living accommodations. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, it was a popular movement, and yeah, I don't know if we're gonna lean in that direction per se.
Got you. Got you. Hey, Rachel, welcome. Welcome to anybody that I missed. I'm sorry. We've been talking and I missed saying hey to folks. Um, so let's talk about the high level vision for you. You've spoken a lot about the intent to create community. So high level vision, and you were just talking about this with the difference in the RV park. People are more transient in RV parks.
Hmm.
At a high level, how do you see the vision for your RV park?
Can you repeat that question?
So I was saying we've talked about how RV parks, and I may not have said the right thing. RV parks are usually more transient. Talk to
Yeah.
us about the vision for what you see for the tiny house community. I may have not asked that correctly.
No, yeah, it was good. It was just breaking up. But yeah, I see it as its own community. Still on the same land, but in its own area at the other end of the property. And when you looked at it, it's approximately 10 acres on that side. Um, having lots strategically placed. So again, it's fostering that community again and taking your
Hmm.
idea, which I never thought of, but having that separate parking space, away from the homes. That way you can still utilize your space to full advantage. Um, that's how I see it sort of laid out on that area with nice landscaping. Everybody having their own nice landscaping around. Um, Walking trails throughout the property as well. We already had a pavilion. Utilize the pavilion, having some green space. You know, um, that green space used for you name it. Morning yoga, uh, getting your getting your ground
Yeah,
if anybody familiar with that. Um, and just to and also just thinking about the trails along the nice trees, living trees, but throughout the property, fruit trees. Why not have your landscape be another benefit? Live off of it. So,
right.
um, but yeah, that's just my mind going and thinking. So,
Yeah, yeah,
I hope we can get a hope we can get sort of a clear picture of what I'm thinking and what I'm saying.
yeah. One of the things that, as we speak to tiny house communities, and one of the challenges as you try to build tiny house communities and you're in conversation with like local municipalities, they, for whatever reason, have bad visions for tiny house communities as they reference the um, mobile home communities and the RV parks that have gone into disarray.
Yeah.
And so we have to, one, we have to obviously take the lessons, the learning lessons from the creation of those communities and where things went down. But then we
Hmm.
also have to understand how to have those conversations with municipalities and talk about the differences in the community building that we want to do. And so the things that Josh just spoke about of creating gardens and having pathways and the creating the farms and people feel like feel tied into this community and they're not just there for, just to be parking and they don't feel like a part of a bigger community. And so those are the
Hmm.
lessons that we have to learn as we're looking into creating tiny home communities. And those are the things that as we kind of move forward with um, our talks through collaboration are the things that we would be focused on. um, Crystal is asking, will you have rental tiny houses on wheels? That's something that we have in on the plate to discuss as well, for opportunities, because people do want to have an opportunity to experience a tiny house. And so those are the
Absolutely.
things that we want to consider. Um, the and Robert is saying it would definitely feel like a safe haven for people who look like us. Absolutely. And again, I saw Crystal speak to it when we talk about safe spaces for us. The challenges we run into with oftentimes with white people when they've spoken about safe spaces for them, they with that safe space it was exclusive of us, and that's
Hmm.
not, or when they speak to having pride in their race, white pride equals black hate, and that's not anything of what we're talking about. My black pride doesn't mean I have white hate. It means I'm very excited about who I am as a black person. I'm excited about my black community and supporting the community and spaces.
Hmm.
As we're creating safe spaces, we're creating those safe spaces so that we can move away from racism. We can have spaces that are centering us and our needs, but it doesn't mean others aren't included. And that's the differences that I think so many in that community can't fathom, because any time that they've centered themselves, it has been at our expense and at our in our and caused us danger and hardship. And so those are the things that I I I always call out, because there's a need for us to have these spaces so that we can be safe.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely hit it right on the head. I'm glad you brought that point up. But that's always needed, needed to be said. So, um, yeah, it's not about exclusion. It's just about having, our own, again, safe places for us. So, yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, Josh, what if
Yep.
you were writing an autobiography, what would be the title of your autobiography?
Oh wow, you didn't tell me you was gonna ask me that one. I would have thought
I
about
don't I don't ever talk about the questions, but I lead you to the previous broadcast. So sometimes you have to get all the way to the end when I get those questions in there.
it. Yeah, yep. Ah, my autobiography. Ooh, man, you got another question you want to ask? I can come back to that one.
You're gonna come back to that one. Okay, then what's a question I didn't ask that you wish I had asked, or some information you want to share with us that we haven't covered?
Let's see. Uh, uh, it can be totally unrelated, right?
Yeah, if it's
It
something
can
you
be any.
want to share, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. A new hobby. A new, one of your latest hobbies?
It wasn't a question for me, it's a question for you. what's
I know
what's
that's what I'm saying. So yeah, that was the question.
That's the
But
question. You want to talk to us about your new hobbies?
I guess if
Okay, okay,
if
go
that's
ahead.
acceptable. Okay.
Yes, absolutely,
So
go
I was
ahead.
like, I have guess for the past year I've started. I like to cook. I cook a lot. I
Oh,
have found
okay.
a passion for it. Um, so yeah, that's a new hobby I'm endeavoring in.
Okay. So do you have a
Yeah,
specialty area that you are dabbling in, or is it all the things that you're cooking?
yeah. You know what? Um, yeah, probably not a specific area, but yeah, just the joy of planning it out. Getting what I need and getting it prepped and getting it done and seeing the family eat. That brings joy to me. So
I love
I
that.
like that.
Congratulations, Amber. Job well done.
I can't take all the credit for it. If everybody on YouTube, they can. I like to follow a guy smoking and grilling with AB, so I get a lot of recipes from him.
Very nice. I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
So I've always said I needed a mate who liked to cook because I like to clean. A cooking, like I can cook, I don't like to cook. So I've always said there would be a good pairing there,
yeah.
for somebody who liked to cook and I like to clean. But now I want them to have their own space too, so we can we can we can have a shared space. But I want to have my space, have them have their space. Maybe they can invite me over for dinner, and maybe I can do some. I got to figure out how that works. But yeah, I cooking is not my favorite thing. So good job, Amber. Good, congratulations to you. I also hate going to the grocery store, so there's that.
You know
Crystal
what's
says
funny? I
Chef
think I think
Josh.
something
Go.
that something that's funny. I think something that sort of led me into it. Amber actually bought us a new knife for the kitchen, and
Oh,
it was a great knife and it's real sharp. And you
uh-huh.
just you get to using it because it's so good. You're like, oh man, it's a nice knife. So I think that sort of led me into it.
A
You find
knife.
love in prepping it. Yeah,
Okay.
you find love in prepping the veggies, and then it's like, okay, because that's the hardest part, getting your prep work done. So if you can find love in doing that, the rest of it come easy. So I think
Okay.
that's what came.
That was a that was an easy transition with a new knife. Amber, I am so proud of your efforts. Like buy a new knife and
Yeah,
look what you got out of this.
she knew what she was doing. She knew what she was
I
doing.
see. That was slick and she didn't even have to spend a whole lot of money. She bought this knife and kicked in a whole new hobby here. I am impressed. Amber, you might want to write a book about that.
Hmm.
All right. I'm back to what would be the title of your autobiography based on everything that you shared, the things you've done. What would be the title of your autobiography?
Oh, Joshua Gordy. Value add, the value added life.
The value added life. I like that. I
Mhm.
like that. The value added life. Sounds like it's going to be
Yeah,
some lessons that you've learned as you've been
yeah,
navigating. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking, even yeah, sports days. Like, was never the best guy on any of my teams I played for. Just kept putting the work in, consistent discipline. Found myself at the highest level of football. Um, you know, getting into married life. Taking that serious, adding value to your marriage, kids, every day. Um, Real estate. That's real estate. My niche in real estate was um, finding the dilapidated properties and adding value to them. Bring them to where they are now, and improving neighborhoods and giving people other places, places to live.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's what we're doing with the park. So I
The
think it'd
value
be a
add.
lot. I better
The
write that
value
down.
add.
I just can't say it off the
Write
top
it
of my
down.
dome.
That was good. That was good. Chris Edwards is saying, Josh, the theme of your autobiography would be making the most of your opportunities. You've done it your whole life.
Yeah, that's my
Excellent.
brother.
Okay, Chris. I knew Chris was a fan. I know it was the brother, but Chris is a fan. Go,
You
Chris.
know,
We
you know what's so
appreciate your
you know
support.
what's so funny about that? You know what's so funny though?
Hmm.
When I was saying I was going to seek some wise counsel on um, the business endeavors,
Is
that's
that
who
the
I was going to reach
counsel?
out to.
That's the wise counsel. Okay, Chris.
Yep. Yep.
Chris, the wise counsel you were referenced earlier before we even started this. So I love your
He don't
comment
even know
and
it.
thank
He
you
don't even know it.
for
He knows now.
okay. Thank you for joining. And his comment is actually in alignment with what you said, Josh. The value add,
There you go.
making the most of your opportunities. That's beautiful. That is beautiful support. Okay, Josh. Let me see if I might be missing some comments. While I'm looking at the comments, you tell us where people can find you on all the socials and your property address information again and how they can come out and visit all those things.
Yep. So, in a nutshell, the website is www.worthen-rv-park.com. Um, I think Amber could probably put it in the chat for everybody too. IG, we're simply Warthen RV Park. Facebook, Warthen RV Park as well. Um, and yeah, those are major channels, and that's where you'll be able to find us. Sign up for our newsletter. We get those out every month with helpful insights, upcoming events, and everything of that nature. So to stay in tune. We also like to update folks too on the improvements we're making too to keep the energy going. Um, so yeah, follow us
Okay.
there. Stay in touch.
Okay. I'm sorry for the technical difficulty, y'all. I see the freezing. So, of course, you all know I will share all of Josh's information in the video description. And then, Josh, if you'll let me know, if you'll send me a link on how they connect with your newsletter, I'll include that for you as well. Um,
Okay, we'll do. Also, you can go to the homepage. You'll see a subscribe
okay,
button
to
there.
the
But
on the
we'll definitely
website.
put it. Yep, yep. If not, we'll
Okay,
get the link to you too.
okay. And Crystal and y'all, I'm cracking up at y'all's comments for Robert. So, I have an admirer in the chat. I've never met Robert before, but I think he's asked me to marry him at least 5 times or so. And so he joins and entertains the ladies. They think it's the cutest thing. And sometimes he'll say stuff and just make me laugh and blush. And they just all think it is so funny. So when I said I
Go
need
ahead,
somebody
Robert.
that
Hope you
knows
can
how to
cook,
cook,
Robert. Hope you can cook.
I just saw him say, I guess I better learn how. But Crystal said I gave him the cheat code. And mind you, I've never met Robert, but he's asked me to marry him several times. So we'll see how this goes. Um, I appreciate y'all
Shoot your
so
shot.
much. Oh, and Crystal, they also commented on how I said they need to have their own tiny house on wheels, and we'll visit and stuff. So they told Robert I had given him the cheat code. So we'll
Mhm.
see how that goes. Josh, I thank you so much for spending your Sunday with us. It is 1:19, so you still have plenty of time to get to the games that start at 3. Thank you, Amber, for sharing that. Thank you for being here as support in the comments next time, because there will be a next time for our conversation. So next time we'll have to have you join us on the live and share you with the people. Josh, what else? Anything else before I do my closeout? Anything else we
Well,
missed talking about?
yeah. Thank you for bringing me into this, tight knit community. Definitely looking forward to what we can do going forward. Enjoyed the conversation, so I know we'll keep going with it. And
Absolutely.
again, just excited, just excited.
Absolutely.
Nice
I'm
to meet all
excited as
y'all.
well. My
And good luck,
community is
Robert.
fabulous. Robert, Josh said good luck to you. My community is fabulous. I love, 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 love them immensely. They show up on Sundays. They say this is their church, and I appreciate them because we do have some good conversation and good guests and things that touch the soul. So I appreciate them immensely. And I thank you for sharing your time with
No,
them. And again,
no
we
problem.
will be back in conversation as we continue our conversations around collaboration and all of those things. So I thank you all. Thank you all for joining us on Sunday. I'm going to do my closeout. Josh, hang on just a second. Again, apologies for the, let me do this the right way. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Y'all know sometimes the internet and things want to hold us back, but we always persist. Robert says, Brother Josh and Miss Amber, please come back to visit us. Absolutely.
Will
Thank you,
do.
Crystal. Thank you, Crystal. I didn't drop my links today. I was in conversation, but I'll include them in the community. Thank you to Soul Collective. I didn't reference you all as your proper name now. Thank you, Soul Collective community, for showing up. Again, this has been one of our conversations on intimate spaces. We are here on Sundays at noon with guests, answering frequently asked tiny house questions, or just in our community conversation. And we always have a great time. And I appreciate you all for being here to contribute to that great time. I hope everyone has a great and safe Sunday, and we will talk soon. Thank you all.